we want to look at procedure writing.
Running parallel with your unit of inquiry.
And the unit is on change and food processing.
Yep.
So if we look at procedure and how things are done. So when we look at procedure, though, we have a number of different forms of procedure text that we'd want to look at. Things like recipes, how to do something. Instructions, directions. I think that if those are our big three
and link
ones.
Instructions to games as much as we can.
That's right.
Because I think that will be good.
And I think that's the, so yeah, here's some examples from exploring how text work. Recipes, science experiment, or craft instructions, game rules, appliance manuals, how to do it kits, directions to reach a destination. So we've got to decide, will we call it...
Treasure hunt.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we're going to call it procedure text with the children. And we're going to expose them to these different forms of procedure
And I think we need
text.
to start with a recipe first because that's what's first and foremost in their head because of the unit that we're doing.
Yeah. And one thing as well, if you can add for homework, on the homework grid, that they bring in examples of procedure texts from home, and that they talk about that with their parents, and try as much as possible to bring in a variety. And we can put that up in the classroom.
Yep.
So wherever we can to get the mother tongue.
I was just thinking, mother tongue.
That would be cool. So let's talk to them and get that as much as we can, because then that way it's going to make it that much more real life for the kids when they see it, and when they see the game instructions. I think that's where the penny will drop for them.
Yep.
So, all right, we've got that. But now, I was reading in here, First Steps, as one of our resources. Now, this is very cool, TJ. The idea that texts that instruct are often multimodal. So they can be used to guide behavior or tell how something is done. For example, a stop sign is a simple text designed to instruct. A repair manual is more complex. Extended series of steps written for the same purpose. They say the same thing in here that she said in exploring how text work. About recipes, directions, manuals, etc. But the idea of the multimodal, and I think we really need to focus on that and try and bring those in. And if we get pictures, of a stop sign, of these things, and when you look around and driving, all the signs that you see for driving, keep to the left. I don't know, I think those are instruction.
Well, they are, because they're telling you what you need to do.
Right? Don't you think?
Yeah.
So if we have photographs, I think that would be really cool.
All that kind of stuff too.
The roundabouts coming up, just that symbol shows them and instructs them.
Well, that's what we could actually do, a sorting activity about which ones actually tell us to do something and which just tells us that something's there.
Yeah.
And be interested to see how well they can distinguish between the two. But I think traffic signs are a really good way to go because they do it naturally.
Yeah.
And when I used to do a board at the beginning of the year with just lots of different things that kids can read, KFC, Kmart, all those kind of things about talk about they already know how to read. The traffic signs are the ones they can all tell you about.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think that'd be really cool to bring that in. So anyway, reading through that's when I realized, it's much more.
That would be good too.
Yeah.
Like their school timetable.
Yeah. It does instruct you, it does tell you.
Yeah. And a comparison between that and then something like a procedure about how you're washing your hands or how you're getting dressed or something like that. And I think we need to do a lot about the comparisons and about how the visual text you can get. There's so much information that you can get that doesn't require you to read.
That's right. Yeah. And which is really going to benefit the ESL kids. And we can have the ESL children respond to it in those ways. At the end...
And in actual fact, I think we should use them as a way to teach the other kids because they do it so much more confidently because they're used to it.
Who's that?
The ESL kids.
Yeah.
Reading visual text. They see much more out of it than I would say the rest of the kids that we've got in there at the moment.
Yeah.
They are looking for something to read, whereas the ESL kids are looking for any information.
That's right. And any information that they can make sense out of and make meaning out of. So, and I think what I've noticed with those kids that you've got, the ESL ones, they're very good at that. They're very good at following what the others are doing. They're very good about trying to make sense out of their world, which I think is a really good ESL skill and something that we need to tap into that for them. So we're going to call it procedure.
Procedural text.
Yeah, because
go back to the process of building the field, modelling the genre, joint construction, independent construction.
Yeah, and that will follow just from first steps takes you through that. Exploring how text works takes you through that. ESL on the mainstream takes you through that. So where you expose the children to you expose the children to the text, and again the text, we need to make sure that it's multimodal, so that we're not always just looking at the writing. And that could be, I mean,
well,
be
I
really
think we
cool.
have to use the pictures and everything as much as we can too, to get them to construct their own language.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to be able to write their own procedures unless they can construct their own language.
That's right.
And there are a few in there who will just hold on to the text if they see it. Particularly a couple of those, children who are writing quite fluently, they will hold on to just repeating what they've already seen, rather than trying to construct their own. So I think that'll be good, not just for the ESL students at all.
No, it'd be it's good for all of them. So in that building the field, where we've got, we'll give them experiences with the text, in a variety of forms. So
we'll start off with their examples.
I'll start to type.
Okay. So we'll organise through the homework grid to get examples of procedural text from home, both in English and in their mother tongue. Okay. And there's many different examples. I'll give them a list of different things that they can.
Yeah. Let's do that.
And I could probably get one of my parents to go out and take photos.
Oh. Yeah. Really?
I think Michelle would. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fabulous. Yeah. That would. I mean, that's a huge.
Instead of her coming into the classroom, one of those sessions, she could actually go out and do that.
That's a huge savings for us. Yeah, and any of those things, and then we can sort. It'd be cool. We can print them out, color, laminate them, sort them, and then we've got them. So the homework is bringing in examples.
And just make a big board. We'll just get them to keep putting things back there and keep
procedure text. Because when we did that with Vicky, it was awesome, and the board looked really cool. It was really.
And I think what we should do is just have little cards next to it, and as kids make comments about things, they should just put those up next to things, because they do get excited about having something there, and whenever someone adds something new, they'll go up and they'll have a look, they'll make comparisons, they'll talk about those kind of things, and we should actually grab their generalisations then. I think so too. Yeah, and they're what they're thinking about it and where they're going with it, and if we just model that for them, they can do it in a picture, in a word, and if we give them some vocabulary on the side as well, they can just do that. So, and then we'll have photos of multimodal. And I'd like, as much as we can with the vocab too, link what we can back to the unit. The ideas of processing, manufacturing, that food stuff as well. We might sort that board into some kind of way too. So they can make the links. Now, the only other, I'm thinking about the multimodal. I wonder if there's any moving images, any video, that sort of text that we can get our hands on. That's instruction. Can you think? There must be I keep thinking of? No. There would be on Nick Jr. and stuff. There's a little girl who runs a gardening show. There's a little boy who runs a cooking show. Yeah. Why can't we get our hands on that? Well, I'll probably ask Michelle. She's got Foxtel. I don't have Foxtel. Yeah. To tape some. We should probably link to directionality and location in maths as well, because there's in the math scope and sequence, there's a section on location and direction and learning to listen to instructions and follow instructions. So you could do a lot of that too, which could link back to things like the treasure maps or playing with the pattern blocks. All of those kind of things. Drawing a picture. That they're giving you the barrier games. And those sorts of things all set up for ESL kids. They're perfect. Then, our board, let's just put that up. So that's for building the field, where we're giving them lots of experiences with it. And just note there that we want to look at vocabulary, we want to put generalisation cards there, and at some point we want to sort that board, just so they can, because one section will be, I'm even just thinking, I was thinking that it would just be the recipes, but it wouldn't be at all. Flowcharts, anything like that would link to that unit. And I think they show that in here they do, the instruction manual, or games, or... Maybe if we just use the board, pieces, and then eventually we link back to the board in terms of what links to the unit of inquiry. And they'll be able to do that quite confidently after a while. Do you know what would be good too? For our text cookbooks. Well, because they're asking for families to do individual ones, but why couldn't the class do one? That's right. From something that they choose. Yeah, together. For sure. That actually could be a summative assessment task too.